So I'm a software engineer with Edge by Essential, who help kind of the world's major brands get more insight into their digital strategy. And at the moment, my main wheelhouse is in Ruby as a software engineer in that area. So that's my day to day. So I'm involved in organising Ruby Ireland, which is, as the name suggests, a group for Ruby enthusiasts and developers and maybe aspiring developers. That's basically the kind of group that we have. We tend to run meetups as often as we can. This year, maybe slightly less, and we've been shifted online. But we've survived the year that was. So we're looking forward to kind of regrouping, and we've had a in-person event, which was nice to get everyone back in the room and get that sense of community back together again. So, when things permit, we'll be looking forward to that and online in the meantime. So in terms of tooling for organizing events, the actual tooling side is probably pretty simple. The main thing is really people, and just having people around you to help you organize, even sometimes if that's just moral support. The people that speak at the events, they're kind of the backbone of the whole thing, and then the people that show up and everyone else that helps. That's really the main thing. I don't want to call people tools. It sounds ungenerous, but I would probably say not so much about tools, but more about the people there. I suppose the main thing we use at the moment is meetup.com, probably similar to other lots of other people or other groups, and I think that's 90% of what we use just to get the word out. And we also have Slack for kind of just small organizing kind of chats and things like that. But once you get good people, I think it could be an email thread, it could be Slack, and the rest is kind of immaterial. The most important thing to me as an organizer is probably, I remember a time when there was no meetup to go to, and wandering around the place, probably before open source was really a big thing, and desperately wanting even one other person to talk to, what's this all about, or what new things are out there. And I think the main important thing is just that it exists and that there's a place for people, to go to, and that's why it's really nice to see, newer technologies. Sometimes they're smaller, to see groups around that and be interested, and that's great. But the main thing is just to have a place there for people to go to, and no matter what comes along, like this year, next year, who knows, meteors might start coming at us. But no matter what happens, just to keep the show on the road and give people a place to meet up and have some fun and share ideas. When I hear community, the first thing that pops into my head is probably just again, maybe reiterating other things, would be like back to the people, and just having that sense of a group that, when they meet up a few times, maybe over months, kind of years, that kind of thing, it does kind of develop its own spirit and sense of a place. And I think that's kind of the key thing, is that mix of people that you have, new people coming in that are learning about something, maybe people that are coming in and it might make the difference in them choosing a career in a certain path, and keeping everyone kind of fun and engaged. I think just that kind of community spirit is that's the main thing. So I think in terms of tips for organizing events for developers, probably the trickiest thing can be to kind of have your network of speakers that, getting a just even having a pipeline that you're not thinking about, who's talking at this, who's talking at that. I think that's something, and maybe it's something where you can get other people to help you with a network effect, to just encourage people to speak, and as well just to encourage people that it's not a big deal. You don't really need to, it doesn't have to be Nikola Tesla or anything like that just sharing it can be your experiences, your viewpoint, that kind of thing is all important, and everyone loves it. So, getting people to talk is the big thing, and that's probably the one event. That's the main thing. And the other thing is just to have, maybe, especially as you get a little bit bigger, have one or two other people on the organising side, even just from a social point of view, to keep that ticking along. Nice little sense of morale. So why is the local tech community important to me, and Ruby Ireland in particular? I suppose I've run a thought experiment before, especially if things are busy, and you say, well, what if you stopped doing that, or you didn't bother doing that? What would that change? And you quickly realize you'd miss the what that's there. There's all the people that you from previous meetups, but there's something nice about just the complete random people that you meet, that you're always going to meet as you keep doing these events. I remember organising an event in the calendaring or something when haywire, and one other person turned up, and that was in the middle of Dublin in a bar somewhere, and that turned out to be one of the best meetups. So you never know what's going to happen, and that sense of something new each time and the people is definitely what keeps me interested, and no signs of that changing. So the biggest challenges running online events was probably doing the first one, and just not really having that sense of people in the room. There's something very, I don't know, like it's almost like a mix of theatre and fun, and some learnings at a meeting, our meetup. So it's when you take the people out of the room and everyone mutes on a Zoom call or whatever technology you're using, and you have that eerie space-like silence, you just need to keep in the back of your mind that the people are out there, and it's a different way of doing it, but it's got its own advantages. And one of the nice things about online is that it lets you reach people that you couldn't reach before, maybe stating the obvious, both in terms of speaker opportunities and in terms of people being able to attend. So maybe there'll be an interesting hybrid world when everything changes again in the next 7-year cycle of the world. But definitely challenges, but it's got its own benefits too, the online. I think at meetups, has anything gone terribly, terribly wrong? I don't remember anything that was disastrously wrong, other than at one point, I think the power went out in one of the venues, and the main thing again was the community, people just literally in the room saying, we're going to put the word out on Twitter and whatever channels they had, and bizarrely it ended up moving the meetup, or a subset of it, to a new venue in a hostel in Dublin. Again, I think as long as you just keep your mind the fact that everyone's there and wishing you goodwill and wants a good event, it's a positive place. So if something goes wrong, people are rooting for you, and if you remember that, I think you can hopefully kind of stay calm and get past most things. In terms of the future of meetups, whether we do hybrid or in person or pure remote, it'll probably be largely guided by what people want, and there is an element of the effort to organise and logistics, of course. But it'll be interesting just to see what people's feedback is. We've done obviously the online, we've done the in person. We didn't do a pure hybrid event. It wasn't streamed live. It was recorded and played back after, and that worked well. I think it's quite a challenge to, in real time, do a hybrid event well to an online audience and a in-person audience. I think there's a big trade-off there, and we haven't figured that out. We haven't tried it yet, but if and when we do it, we'll definitely be ready that we'll I think the tip there would be to have a couple of people, basically one marking the live, one person marking the online, and somehow coordinating all the chaos. But that will definitely be the challenge. So we'll see how it unfolds kind of over the coming months and year.